another edition of Coinpoker's Cash Game World Championship, some No Limit 10K, and this is going to be day one of 4 weeks of action. I'm joined by Kakiti. How's it going, sir?
Good, man. So these are the first two guys putting in hands this year. It's Chris Wynn, aka Luca Brate, the first man to sit at the tables, and who challenges him other than Davy Jones. So it'll be interesting to see who joins as a third. I imagine it won't be too long before somebody sits down.
Yeah, going into the last one, actually, I wasn't familiar with a lot of the names, but Davy Jones is one of those names that kept coming back as like one of the best players, one of the GOATs of ring games and six max. He didn't perform the best, right?
No, he didn't perform. I mean, he didn't have a great run over that stretch of hands. But the reason you've heard his name so much is because a lot of people do respect him. So Chris here probably waiting to play three-handed, which is reasonable because I don't know if you know this, Yuan, but heads up is effectively like a completely different game. Whereas in ring game, like 3 max, 4 max, 5 max, 6 max, like all the people who study for those things, they learn all of those different positions. Heads up is so completely different in how you play that some people just actually don't study it at all. And they don't want to have to play it in a situation. And by the way, the heads up hands, as per last year, don't count towards the event. So not that any action really happened in those few hands, but none of the blinds won will count towards either of those players' totals.
Maybe no grimming action, hopefully. I thought that's such a funny word, by the way. I didn't even know what grimming is, and then I heard about it.
Did you hear about the origin story?
No.
Oh man, it's a good little story. I'll summarize it for you.
Okay.
Xiaojun sits down, wants to play a little bit of ante. I won't go off on the tangent. Actually, I'll go off on the tangent real quick. So ante this year might actually get played a bit. We have spawns for ante and no ante. And apparently some of the MTT dudes, Michael Adamo being one of them, may actually play significant volume. And I think that'll be really good for action because a lot of these No Limit Hold'em guys, they're so used to playing no ante. They're like, they're not like perfect players, but they're so good at playing that particular format. And they're so good at post-flop, 100 BB plus situations, but they're not very good at ante because they study so much no ante. Ante, more complicated pre-flop, lots of different wide range spots for post-flop, changing how the game gets played quite a lot. And I would really like to see some of the top MTT dudes battling with the top cash dudes in a format that's a little bit friendlier to the MTT guys. And I think it could be quite an even playing field. And I'd also like to see Linus playing in ante because I feel like he'll show some pretty cool stuff. So I'm hoping that ante will run, and Xiaojun is pushing for it at the moment.
You said a little bit friendlier. Yeah, I was going to ask you, who do you think it favors? Because it's still cash game, but with ante. So it still favors the cash game players more so?
Yeah, I mean, so you're kicking up an age-old debate, the cash versus tournament, who's better? I'm a cash guy, and I can't give any other answer than tourney players are all complete whales, and the cash dudes will obviously win. But these days tournament players are actually not bad at poker. Back in the day, tournament players were very, very bad compared to cash players. But nowadays, they put in a good grind. But I would still back the cash players. I think they go deeper. Like when the tricky spots come up, when the leveling wars are there, cash players are just a lot more comfortable playing very deep than tourney players are. A lot of the most crucial parts of tournaments come down to being quite short and leveraging your stack in ICM, and that's just, it's not a focal point that matters at all when you're playing very deep.
Oh, so you think the deeper you get, the more it's going to favor cash game players, even with the ante format?
Sure, because at the end of the day, a lot of it's about intuition. And the cash game guys have been in those deep spots their whole career, thinking about clever moves, coming up with tricky bluffs. But yeah, back to the grim thing real quick. Okay, Davey going to compromise. Let's play one ante and one non-ante, he says. That's kind of fun. But yeah, for those of you tuning in from across the world, it is currently midnight. It's actually 1 a.m. in most European places, and a lot of the players in this competition are in Europe. So we might actually start off a bit slow, and maybe we'll get more into the action tomorrow, like at lunch and afternoon.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what times end up being like the more popular ones. Like I didn't figure it out that quickly during the first one because it was like it seemed like a little bit in the afternoon. Then there was some sort of like dinner break around 8 p.m., which I would have thought would be almost like, in video games it's prime time. That's where you have the most games at 8 p.m. But no, in poker it was like dinner break and then later at night the games restarted, and this time the Americans were joining in and like deep into the night.
Okay, interesting. Would have been a fun sleep schedule for you, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so grimming, okay? There was a player long ago when people used to battle on Full Tilt, okay? Full Tilt Poker, best site. It was amazing back in the day. PokerStars was also great, but I was a FTP man back when it was Full Tilt and Stars. Excellent site. It had the custom chips, custom cards, made my own table background. It was a nice place to play. And we had this dude Grimstar. He came up with the genius idea. Okay, he realized that if you were open sitting at the table, you always got the button, kind of like a reward for sitting down. And he would hold the table. You would join him at the table. He would play his button, and then he would leave. So he would always get a button. And this was like a strategy he used. This is before there was TOS about any of this stuff. This was before people even understood really what was going on. He invented, what has now been called the Grim with a double M. And he just robbed people blind. It tilted the shit out of people. There was a weird meta game where like he would PFR 100%, and so you would 3-bet like 50%. People just got absolutely bonkers in these single hands. Anyway, now that we know more about it, we realize, okay, it's like theft of equity, so it's not really cool. To complete the story about Grimstar. So anyway, this dude, he runs up like $1 million, not only by grimming people, he also bum hunted fish. But anyway, he's up about $1 million. And one day there's a whale, okay, at 200, 400 heads up. And Grimstar, with his strategy of always holding the tables so he can steal your big blind, was naturally holding the tables at 200, 400. This guy sits down. His name is Cemetery. He wins 25 buy-ins off Grimstar and takes his entire bankroll. And Grimstar basically, I don't know if he immediately quit after that or he raged for a while and took a break, but then he never really returned after losing 25 buy-ins at 40K heads up, which was all of his profit.
So Cemetery is the GOAT, basically.
The unknown whale took Grimstar's role, backed by karma. You can probably find the graph if you have a dig, Cemetery Grimstar graph, but yeah.
Look it up. There was a hand that happened, if you want to have a look, that we can go through in the read player.
Sure. All right.
You'll see it on stream.
Do you want to share your screen for the lack of delay thing?
But like it will be very hard to see because I have like so many tables. Like it's like very small. Okay. So I think on the stream it'll be better off.
I can just pull it up myself, yeah.
Yeah, so that was David Jones. Oh, they were heads up, yeah. So Chris opens button, 2.5. This is no ante. David Jones calls ace, deuce, 5, rainbow. And then he continues 40%. David Jones calls. 7 of diamonds on the turn. So how do you feel about so far the way the hand played, and like who does this favor on the flop and the turn?
So what, Chris's preflop raiser on the button 3-handed or heads up?
No, just heads up, yeah. And he's c-bet 40%. So,
yeah, I mean these are kind of tricky boards. They're better. I don't know who they're really better for. I guess they're better for the preflop raiser because you don't defend like 3-4 offsuit or something. Better call Soul coming and sitting down. Maybe we're going to start some 3-max. Maybe not. He's joining and leaving. But yeah, after Luca checks back on the turn, he's pretty capped, and Davey should feel pretty comfortable making lots of different aggressive plays. In this instance, he had top and bottom counterfeit and decided he would check it because I guess he feels that when he has a second pair, Chris is less likely to have something he wants to check back on the river and more likely to bluff. So Davey probably just going to check call with this ace deuce. Just a guess though.
And how about, so on the flop here, when somebody, you have top and bottom, somebody c-bets 40%, you're happy with just calling here?
No, I think Davey's going to do both. That kind of hand, top and bottom, can go either way, and it would probably get mixed. I guess top two, he probably raises all the time. And some other stuff, he'll also mix raise occasionally, like even top pair with a good kicker or an okay kicker. Like he might go check raising a little bit. Some of the flopped pairs with a gut shot, he probably check raises partially for protection, partially to bluff in the future, partially as just a hand with equity. And somewhat as a bluff against medium pocket pairs as well, like kings through eights or whatever. So yeah, he'd have a mixed range, and I think with ace two, he would sometimes raise it and sometimes call, because you don't want to check call only one pair. You want to have some stuff that you're sort of trapping with, because if your opponent starts overbetting the turn and shoving the river, which they might do, you don't want to have no hands in your range that feel like calling.
The fact that it was heads up the hand, it means they are wider than if they had been three-handed, right?
Yeah, for sure. But the defender still won't defend. I mean, I didn't see what the preflop raise size was, but assuming it was 2.5 blinds, then you're not going to defend like all the full trash. I don't remember though what your defend percent is. It's probably 65 or something against the 2.5x, maybe 70.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, a little bit disappointing that the games aren't starting yet. We'd obviously love to see some action, and I do need to go to bed. So
it's 4 weeks, so I think those guys need to pace themselves, I guess.
Yeah, true.
A lot of volume was played last night. I mean, some of these guys, like Kevin Paquet, Rigged, Owen, they were putting in so many hours. I feel like this is the type of thing where, like, if you're a player, you're probably like, all right, I'm going to pace myself. It's 4 weeks long. Just have to have a good balance. And then you start playing, and it's like, immediately, you just want to play way more than what you had set on initially. So I feel like once they start, they're going to go hard.
If you're having fun, yeah, it's a lot easier to, cancel your plans. Or like I know for the PLO event that just finished, I was talking to a couple of people, one being Veni Vidi, who makes some content and is a reasonably well-known reg. And I was saying, oh man, you should play some of this event, Like, I think it'll be fun. It will be nice. Like when you're streaming it, people will see the event and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I'll try to. And then he played like on the opening night, and he played like, I don't know, he had top 5 volume in the event because he was just having a good time. Like everybody was grinding every day.
You trapped him. Told him to play, then he couldn't stop.
I think the game trapped him because it's just a great game. Very nice game format. Ante and no rake, getting to play very loose. And we'll see some of the similar stuff from Hold'em here. I don't know what the percentages that you have to defend in Hold'em are, like when a guy opens in the cutoff and you're on the button. But in PLO, it's like 30. You call 30%. It's like, it's ridiculous. But in Hold'em, it's probably like 15% and you 3-bet, So you're probably continuing a total of 25% of your hands, something like that with the ante. So we're definitely going to see more poker get played. We might see some cool exploits and stuff.
Did you consider doing a week without ante and then a week with ante like there was for the mid stakes?
Yeah, I did consider that. The problem was that there was such a heavy consensus for preferring the total event to be non-ante because it's more of the test of skill. I personally think that what we've compromised and having both available is just better. Because if ante runs, I think some of the people that were skeptical about whether they would like to play ante or not are going to become less skeptical, and they're just going to hop in. And then when they hop in and they're having fun and they're playing loose and they realize like, it's actually just like good. It's a good game format. It's more challenging. Ranges are wider. There's more opportunity for decisions to make me money or to put me to the test, or like it's a more challenging game format. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So I think that once they have that realization, then they'll probably be more interested in playing it. It's sort of like the show cards rule. Like if you just say, hey man, let's play poker, except let's always show our cards, like whoever wins the pot. Some people would say, well, that's stupid. You're just going to figure out how I play. If I think that I'm a good player, why would I want to do that? But then you play the game format, you realize, oh, it's actually quite fun. Oh, and I get a lot of information from my opponents too. So like actually it could be better, even though they can see some stuff about me. I can control that a bit. I can intentionally show certain hands, or like not make a bluff that I'd really like to bluff on the show table, but maybe make it on the non-show table. So it introduces like some additional elements of skill that I think not everybody respects yet.
I'm actually really looking forward to catching up with some of those guys that were on last time and asking them how they've been doing and then how they ended up playing after the last Cash Game World Championship, because we kind of established that some of them were feeling very sharp, like a month-long challenge of playing against the best and having to be very sharp. Like they really thought they were playing very, very well at the end of it for a lot of these guys. So curious how that's, I guess they converted that into playing, in other fields and other games.
Yeah. Did you catch any of the PLO out of interest, Yuan? Do you know much about Omaha? Or?
No, I don't know. I watched a little bit of the videos that were made. Actually, I watched one earlier today, I think it was, where I think it was you on the call.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was a hand, I think, with maybe Vinny, and you were talking on the turn about, or maybe it wasn't you, I don't know, but like somebody was like, oh, he should check. And then the other guy was like, immediately, no. It's like, oh, he has like on the turn, the board paired, it was like a low cards. And then the guy that was in position was representing mostly like high hands. I thought that breakdown was like actually really well explained by the guy that was on the call. He was saying like all these low cards, they favor Vinny more so because he's the one with like all the low cards, and probably doing a bad job explaining it, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all good, man.
Lost Paradise 2 in the chat. What's up?
I Lost Paradise. I recognize this dude.
And there will be the VIP games. Actually, I'm excited for that too.
Yeah, that's going to be quite interesting, man. I really don't know what to expect. Like, honestly, it might play much, much bigger than 5100, just with the rule set for that game format. So for those of you who don't know, the game format for the VIP game this year is going to be a 7-deuce game with a large bounty. So 5 big blinds per player. You're going to win a quarter of a stack if you win a hand with 7-deuce, and it's 100 BB minimum buy-in. And it's large ante, so there'll be 2 BB total ante plus the bounty. So I think it's just going to be an absolute spewer's paradise, this game format. I'm very curious how this looks. I feel like we'll see some completely wild punt, and we'll see some really sick plays. And we'll see people regretting what they fold when they get shown bluffs. So it's going to be cool, man. I'll be curious to ask all the players what they think of the format, as I've had a little bit to do with the creation, like in terms of which bounty we set and what ante we make.
But what's the usual, like for 7-deuce?
Well, the classic, like when 7-deuce first got introduced to poker, we saw it on high stakes poker, and it was a very small bounty, and people went absolutely bonkers, trying to win the bounty just because it's like an ego thing, kind of. But these guys were sitting down with 100K stacks, and the bounty was like 1K per player, and they were playing like 200, 400, So it's just kind of an insignificant amount of money to win with 7-deuce. Then there was talk of people playing like massive bounty, like 10 BB 7-deuce. And the problem here is like the hand's so good when you win 50 BB plus that like you can almost call a shove with it pre-flop. And you never want to have it be like that, where it's just such a good hand. You're just like cold 4-bet jamming like every time and it's printing money. Because then it takes out some of the skill. You want it to be kind of in this medium zone. And shout out to Owen and another dude who helped me kind of realize that that's the best way to do the 7-deuce, is to have this kind of medium where people want to bluff because there's a large bounty, but at the same time, you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to go completely crazy because you're not winning that much relative to the equity that you have if you're all in pre-flop, for example.
Okay, yeah, I see.
So, it'll be interesting. And I'm sure some of the guys will even take it quite seriously and try to figure out like how exactly 7-deuces worked into each other's ranges. Like, do they always have all combos, How do you continue? Do you always 3-bet 7-deuce? Do you flat with suited? Like there's a lot of strategic decisions you can make. Because if everybody thinks that, okay, people always 3-bet 7-deuce, then you could be just flat calling it out of the big blind, check raising it on the flop, and you might get more credit. Or, I mean, I'm oversimplifying it because obviously people will do a mix. They won't always 3-bet.
But is that something that it's solvable?
I think if you knew how to code solvers, you could solve it. But I don't think that there's an active solver that has like a default setting to run for this kind of stuff. I don't know, though. I don't keep up with these kind of things.
Yeah.
One thing that's interesting, though, is like, so say you can win 25 big blinds you just by taking down the blinds pre-flop, right? So now do you want to have a strategy where sometimes you open raise to like 7 or 8 BB? And you could have a range of like aces and kings and queens and, king, queen suited and shit sometimes, and 7 deuce sometimes,
What about limping?
Well,
like traps and everything.
There's not much tactical advantage to limping with 7-2, right? Like you're
no,
trying
but
to
like limping in general because the 7 deuce game is on. Is that like a dynamic that exists?
I think you almost hit the mark there. Like, I think in this game there will be limping, but there will be limping because there's so much money in the pot with the antes.
Yeah.
That's the primary driver of limping. I don't know if people would limp a 7 deuce though, because it's kind of counterintuitive. Like if you start limping, the chance of the pot being like 4-handed goes up a lot. So while you might want to limp with some hands, maybe on the button, I don't know if you do it with 7-2 or not. I really don't know.
Yeah, but the chances that somebody tries to steal are also a lot. And then you re-raise. Take it down pre.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't have a clue, mate, with limping and hold'em. Like, do you limp aces and trap and stuff? Like, I really don't know how it works. I have a feeling like if you limped aces and somebody punished you from the big blind, like really big, you would just call anyway. You wouldn't even re-raise. But maybe with the 7 deuce you re-raise. I don't fucking know. It's a weird one, bro. We'll see some weird hands probably.
Yeah.
I hope we get some gems, some 200 BB stack offs with 7 deuce.
Lost Paradise in the chat asked about the VIP game. He said, "What's the normal format?" No ante. So the normal formats, like there is tables that have antes, some that don't, and same with the show tables. There is some show tables and some without. But everybody that plays has to open a show table first, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, so Chris is coming in. Are we starting a game here? I mean, there should be a third guy.
I hope to see all the guys return. Actually, wait, I have the graphic from the last one, I believe, if you want to kind of go back over it and like you can tell me who you expect might make a return. Let me see. Let me pull it up. That's even the right one. Leaderboards. All right, yeah, it's on stream. So we're looking at like the 26 first players. And I'm curious if you have an insight, like some of them are coming back for sure, or like, yeah, do you expect most of these guys? Do you think there's going to be some of them missing, but then some new names might appear as well?
I think the dudes who were notable last time seem likely to play, just because I heard that they were playing some short-handed battles recently. It kind of implies that they're practicing, they're getting ready. So Kevin, I imagine we'll see him make a reappearance. Linus, I believe last time, like he seemed quite interested in playing, but he also had some sort of real life thing going on. And that cut him short or cut him out of 2 or 3 weeks of the play. So I feel like Linus, if we see Linus going hard, it's going to make it a really interesting event. Who else do we have? We have Rigged Deck, so obviously crashing a little bit at the end, but like in very close competition up until a few days before the end of the event, if I'm not mistaken. He'll be playing again. And of course, Owen, the previous champ, will be joining and probably playing a decent amount of hands.
Yeah, it would be nice to have Flushy back in the mix. He did very well too, finishing in 4th place.
Yeah, Flushy, always interesting. I think that if the games are popping and he's not busy, he probably plays. From what I know of him, these aren't like massive games. Like if he played, it would be kind of for fun.
Yeah.
I remember after the event finished, he was playing people randomly heads up on coin quite a lot, and then he just started playing PLO heads up. He just like got into it, I guess. So he's a very respectable gambler. Like he just he likes to challenge himself.
Yeah. And Xiaojun, we already saw at one of the tables, he was trying to encourage some anti-action.
Yeah,
Unsuccessfully,
but
it looks like.
unsuccessfully, yeah. Okay, so we're going to see Matt Marinelli going to join and make this a three-handed game by the looks of it. I'm assuming Chris is here. If not, we might just get another little teaser, couple of hands. We'll see.
Same avatar still as last time.
Yeah, true. All right, here. So Chris is in now. I wonder how this works. Will the next hand be Chris big blind? The software should do that. Or is it going to play two hands in a row? No, it does two hands in a row. That's unfortunate. So Davey will get double button, which is a little gift for being willing to start the tables.
We won't need cemetery for this one. Everything's fair here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to step in yet.
Usually, if you see three pros playing a six max table starting situation, they'll space out so that there's one seat between each of them. But when they're expecting it to be all pros, it's not really a big deal. Like people aren't hunting the seats as much. People are, especially these particular players, they're trying to be fair. So I didn't even look, but let's check. Oh no, they actually have the same seating order on both tables. I felt like they might make an effort not to do that, but whatever. It's obviously not a big deal. So yeah, it'll be interesting what strategies we see, if we see anything a little bit different. Me personally, as a guy who used to play Hold'em, I do find pre-flop sizings a little bit of an interesting choice for people.
Yeah.
Especially on the button, because you're sort of suggesting how you want the blinds to play defense against you. And in general, and I don't think it's true for these players because they're the top of the top, but in general, people don't defend in the small blind enough with a flat call. And so opening smaller tended to be kind of a nice strategy on the button. But I think with these guys, they're not going to miss those defends. So I'll be curious if we see any larger button opens or if 2.5 is as big as it gets.
Well, if we would it be more in anti games, do you think?
Oh, yeah. In ante, you'll probably see some button limping as well.
Yeah. Okay, so we do have one show table, one normal table.
Yep.
Yeah, you were talking about Linus earlier. Yeah, it was like around Christmas, the last one. Like it was, I think there was a bit of a break exactly on Christmas, but around that time, like he had some trip probably already planned, so he couldn't.
Yeah.
Play a ton.
Possibly a skiing trip. It's that time of the year in these regions, and I think he's Swiss, so he's probably into the skiing.
And didn't even play from his room after skiing, like Owen and Lama were doing. Going down
they were degenning it, yes. So they were playing all the time, taking shifts. All right, so interesting spot here. I think Davey was the pre-flop raiser in the blind battle. Bet the flop, check the turn, and check the river and faced a full pot bet. Interesting hand from Matt there. He's going to show a checked back middle two pair. So what does that suggest to you, Johan, when a player would call on the flop, make two pair on the turn? Oh, no, sorry, he didn't check back. My bad, dude. He bet the turn and he potted the river. Yeah, I thought he made a trappy check back, which would have been interesting, but also strange. He did not.
He bet big on the turn. Call. And then...
Yep, and Davey called and then folded river. So Davey basically implying that he had something that he could call with, but decided not to. So good read from Davey.
That feels great when you fold here and you get to see. I wish I would see sometimes because I have to live with the doubt. Whenever I play normal tables.
I now find normal poker tables quite boring.
Yeah, same. I played a bunch actually. No Limit 50 on Coin with the show tables, and it was pretty nice to get to see all the time. But you feel a little bit rustled though when somebody folds and then you have it and then you know that they see. It's like, come on.
Yeah, well, they kind of own you, right? Like usually if you value bet a river and they fold, you don't feel a particular way. It's like maybe you were hoping they would call, but it doesn't bother you. But like when they tank fold and you show them like a nice hand, you know that they also now feel good. You didn't get paid. You know, they read you. You know that, I don't know. It's just more of a social exchange with the show tables. It'll be interesting if Anti starts up. I think if Xiao Jun just sat at the table, the Anti table, there's a good chance it starts off. If that's what he wanted to do, he should vote
Somebody
with his wallet.
responded on Discord. A pretty big
Yeah,
grinder
yeah.
as well.
Yeah, well, that's Kevin.
Yeah, I
Kevin's
know.
saying that he can join in.
That's sick.
So that's cool. I did a little vote in the server. I don't know if you saw it, Johan, for what time the table should kick off.
Yeah.
And more people voted for midnight tonight than midday tomorrow. So I'll be disappointed when nobody plays if they voted for it. But Linus did vote for tomorrow. So we're not really expecting him tonight based on that. Also, Linus has a slightly different screen name. They have replaced the 0 in his name with an O because I believe that the guy who had stolen his actual screen name must have been an inactive account or maybe made some kind of arrangement where Linus can have his original screen name instead.
Okay.
So if any of you guys were about to send Linus 50 grand, just double check with him what his new screen name is.
If we can get four-handed already, that's like, maybe they'll fire even more tables, especially if Kevin joins. He's always wanting to open more tables. Remember?
Yeah, Kevin had the most hands played, right, in the first high stakes event. If I'm not mistaken, I believe.
Yeah, he had 72K, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a hard number to beat.
Yeah, not too far away from rigged. Almost 70K.
Okay. Yeah, in the PLO, we had a guy who played 110,000 hands. Respect, but obviously there's a lot more opportunity to play in a mid-stakes event than there is in this event. And the idea of trying to volume grind when you're up against the best in the world is also like, it's just funny. You know, it's just funny to me, like thinking, oh, okay, I should play as many tables as I possibly can, you know? But I think a lot of people, an event like this is a challenge to themselves. Am I good enough? Where do I stand among the best players? Because a lot of these dudes can afford to play way higher, you know? Not that 10K is small. Like, obviously, if you grind 10K all month, you know, one of you guys could be up like 500K or down 500K or whatever. It's not insignificant money. But for the buy-ins that these guys often play, which is up to $100,000 for some of these dudes, it's kind of small. So they don't mind the idea of testing themselves out. You know?
Would you guess most high stakes pros, they're good at establishing, like, for themselves, what's the amount of tables that they should play based on the difficulty of those tables?
Yeah, it's a great question, man. I think as if you're young, you play a lot, and if you're older, you play less. And I think playing less makes way more sense because the game is extremely hard. And when you're playing against good opponents who are capable of reading into your timings and having a good mapping of your general strategy, it makes way more sense to try and balance those factors. You know, if you care about doing as best as you possibly can. If you have access to a bunch of low stakes games and there's a fish on every table, fine. Maybe playing the maximum is the smartest thing that you can do. But as you move up in stakes and as you get a bit older, I think we all tend to shy away from more tables. You know, there's a lot more to think about when you become good at the game. So yeah, I don't know. I think that these guys play a lot more tables than I would, for example. But I think most of these dudes will play 6 or less tables. And that might be, it also depends how much volume there is. It also depends if people are trying to target specific players. So yeah, complicated question. But in general, I think people play a lot less tables now than they used to in the past.
Lost Paradise in the chat asks, Luca Brat is Luke Gillis. No, that's Chris Nguyen, I believe.
Correct. Yeah. Kyan Mockery, grabbing a couple of chairs. He says he'll play a short session. This is funny. I actually texted him the other day. I was like, "Man, you going to play this event?" He's like, "Probably not." And then he's one of the first people to sit down.
He's loving it. Yeah, I saw Kyan in a lot of different things, a lot of heads ups.
Bro, he's everywhere, man. Plays every game format, plays every live tournament, plays every private game, plays every app game, you know? He's everywhere, bro.
He's living and breathing poker. The way it should be.
Yes, while always on some kind of permanent holiday as well, it looks like. If you follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, I have him. Okay, so four-handed action. And then Kevin did say he might join as well.
I'll be very curious if an ante-table kicks off. Honestly, Sha Jun should just sit an ante and see what happens. I might even text him, bro, sit the ante.
Yeah, why not? Why do you think he wants to play mostly only ante right now? Because he's not joining the normal tables.
I don't know. I don't actually know much about this dude. From my perspective, he's one of the lesser known guys to me. I have no clue about how he plays, but I would imagine since he's requesting to play ante, that it's a format he's more familiar with.
Yeah.
So, but that's only because most people are self-interested. He also might just understand that ante is more fun and not really care, and it might be fuck all money for him. I really don't know. All right, we've got one buy-in dusted in pre from Kyan with aces. Gets called by TT. So Davey taking a hit early in the leaderboard. As again, we always play in EV winnings, not actual winnings, for who wins this event. And so Davey will lose $8,000 towards his point total for that exchange.
I was like, wouldn't it be funny if he just left?
Well, yeah, I mean, he said he was going to leave. This is obviously just a joke. He'll probably play like another however long he was going to play for. I mean, it's honestly hilarious if he just leaves right now. Like, I think everybody would just find this hilarious. So please, Kyan, just immediately quit. Don't even play. You're under the gun for free. Just leave. But yeah, what was that? Was it a cold 4-bet or let's see? Yeah, it was a cold 4-bet, and he shoved the aces over it. Better Call Saul is interesting because, if I'm not mistaken, he also plays. So him sort of chilling and watching is kind of a funny move. Is he looking for different lineups? Is he like just dipping his toes? You know, like what's he planning on doing?
He sat earlier, or he just chatted?
I think he like min sat. Oh, some guy accidentally sat there. Twisted 134. I saw you, man. Accidentally sitting in. I guess he's maybe checking if there's a password or not.
It's open sitting, right?
Yep, anyone can sit.
What's the min buy-in for this? It's 10K
100
actually?
big blinds, $10,000, yeah. And it's expected that the players also use the auto reload feature. So this has been discussed. These guys are all, you know, these guys care about ethics and doing the right thing. At least all the dudes I know. Who is Luca guy?
Lubra guy. Yeah, we got Kevin sitting now. Sick.
Yeah, still 2 tables, which is interesting. I think a lot of these dudes are still in tournaments.
There's one with Davey and Matt Marinelli sat outs, but I think they're waiting that there is more.
Yep.
And not ante, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
For show.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's on him to push that. I think these guys are here for the no ante. Chris probably, I mean, to my knowledge, Chris would be the most experienced with ante of the players at this table. So kind of interesting that Chris doesn't want to spice up with the ante. Could suit him better. Not sure if we saw any limps so far in blind against blind, but I imagine that these dudes will play with limp.
Yeah, the fact that it's high stakes plus no rake makes it more likely, right?
Yeah, rake is a bit of a deterrent to call because calling, you do it wider. It's as soon as you go to the flop, you pay more rake.
And we do have a third table, by the way. Kahan sat.
Yeah.
So much for the short session. That's it. He's in. He's hooked.
Well, I imagine he'll play a short amount of time, but that doesn't mean he'll play a low amount of tables. Kayan is one of the dudes who he plays a lot of tables, or he's capable of it. Like he'll 3-table, 4-table heads up and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's coming in with a 4-bet in one of his first hands. And he's got aces again, but this time they're no good. Runs into aces. These guys are running it twice, so maybe we'll see a little bit of luck boxing. No, not on this board.
Chop it up.
Okay. So one thing to note, though, is this third table is actually a second show table. So maybe they do that for you, Johan.
Oh, yeah, that would be... How sweet.
A little bit of extra volume for the stream.
I'll set up the 2 show tables together. Perfect. Yeah, whoever had this idea of the show table, that's...
I think it was Tony G, actually.
There you go.
Because
the goat
Tony
himself.
G, the original founder of the site, he had a few things like that as ideas in his head. Like he wanted the straddle, and you can tell that because anytime Tony plays, he's always telling people to straddle. I've thought about one day, if I meet Tony G, getting into a discussion about how the straddle is actually counterproductive for what he's hoping to achieve, because he wants it to be like a looser environment, and he thinks the straddle accomplishes that. But because his games often have quite large ante, the straddle reduces the size that the antes are relative to the blinds, which makes you play tighter, not looser. Anyway, that's the nerd in me wanting to come out. I think if I actually met Tony G, I'd probably say something else besides that.
Well, when you first started talking about this, I thought you meant like you wanted to troll, but no, you were actually like dead serious, and you had like a whole point to make.
No, yeah. I'm not a very good troll, unfortunately.
Coinpoker off in the chat says, "I'm tweeting this. How many likes for Kaki to seat?"
Oh Jesus, man, that's expensive. I don't want to give an answer because it's going to make me sound like a nit, but I really don't want to sit down, man. I actually would like to go to bed. But I guess if you get 1,000 likes, I'll do it.
Dude, I thought you were going to say like 10,000. Well, but like maybe he means like for next time as well.
Oh well, no. This is a short offer here. You got about half an hour to get those likes, man.
Bowie effect.
And I'm going to region block as well. India, in case he's thinking about paying for them. If that's acceptable.
You'd do all right, I think, if you joined.
Yeah, just limp fold and stay out of trouble, No, I don't know, mate. I haven't played Hold'em in ages. I'd probably get completely owned in some pot and be on massive tilt and then go to sleep and, wake up annoyed.
A picture for a PLO player to play Hold'em must be like the most boring thing in the world. Is that what it is?
Nah, no way. I mean, Hold'em's cool because it's got the large betting, Okay. Hold'em's cool because the stack can basically always go into the pot. And that's something that in PLO, like a part of the focus of what you're doing is figuring out how you're going to get the stack in. Like should you check raise here? Like if you pot, like is that the right thing? Like does your range want to do this? That kind of stuff. But in Hold'em, you can do all kinds of fucked up shit. Like you can bet double the pot, you can bet triple the pot. You can check back with value because you expect them to overbet shove, if you check back.
There's not much checking back with value in the PLO?
No. I mean, there actually is, but it doesn't gain you as much as an exploitative check back could gain you in Hold'em.
Yeah.
Like in Hold'em, I'll give you a kind of a simple example. This dude, Stefan Burakov, or I forget what his other last name is, but anyway, the guy Stefan is a well-known grinder for a long time. He used to be super aggressive, and some people would just start checking back the fucking nuts against him because whenever they check back, he would just shove for like 5 times the pot on the river. So if you have a read that your opponent will get overly aggressive, it could be tempting to check back sometimes with the nuts, or like a hand that probably shouldn't check back just to snap him off. And I remember seeing some of these dudes in the last high stakes cash game world championship doing something similar. I don't know if it was for that reason or if it was just a theory play, but these dudes were doing weird shit like checking back with sets, on a turn with like a flush draw and stuff. So they're definitely making some interesting plays. I don't know if they're like a choice to deviate from GTO, or if it's acceptable to sometimes make these interesting plays. Because the main difference in Hold'em and PLO is that in PLO you have so many different hands that you want to select your actions based on the specific combination of the hand. What are your two side cards with whatever that you have. But in Hold'em you have so finite hands that you have to like mix percentages of everything in. So Hold'em is a lot more complex in its details. You've got the massive bets, and you've got needing to hit a frequency. Like you might have to do something a third of the time with the hand that you have, otherwise it's a bad play. You might, if you don't bluff with this hand 20% of the time, like you've incorrectly constructed your range now, and you're not bluffing enough. But in PLO, you can say, okay, my side cards give me a logical choice that I should do this action instead. Like I should trap here instead because I have the spades, which means I don't care if the river is a spade, for example.
Is there more exploiting in one game than the other, or it's
probably more exploiting in PLO just because people are less GTO, because the game is more complicated due to the massive amount of combos.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think the crazier the game, the more exploitative people tend to play, whether it's intentional or otherwise. Like PLO 5 is a lot more exploitative than PLO 4, and I imagine PLO 6 might be the same.
Did you play a little bit in the recent challenge?
No, I didn't play at all. I considered playing like on the opening day, but after that point, I have access to the hands of the players, and I have to use it to make content and leaderboards and stuff. And I feel like if I play and win some money, like I don't know, it's just I don't think anyone would have complained because they know I'm like a retired player anyway. But if they did, they'd have reasonable grounds to, and I just thought, whatever, man. I mean, I want to play, but not that badly, so I just didn't do it.
Yeah, I saw like a Twitter post actually by the guy that finished either second or third, and he was like heaps under EV. Like, what the hell happens?
Yeah, he ran like shit, man. It was to be fair, like that was a particularly shit run. People say the variance in PLO is bad. That's not like a standard picture. That guy had a fucking dog shit run, bro. Like I think he was almost 70 buy-ins under EV at 2K.
How many hands?
So he was 40K-ish, if I'm not mistaken, 30 to 50K. Yeah, so not that many hands relative to the swang. But yeah, he was supposed to win 70, and I believe he lost 40 something.
That's so sick.
Yeah, it's quite sick.
He's one of the guys that like usually he plays big, like he's fine, right? Like it's not the end of the world.
I imagine so. I've seen him sitting up to at least 20K. So yeah, I'm assuming that he's totally fine. For him, it's just kind of a funny anecdote on a story, but he had a good performance. I mean, he can be happy with his result. Like he was supposed to win at a strong win rate. Yeah, I don't think he really minds that he ran bad there. Okay. David Jones wins some money from Matt Marinelli. It looked like a reasonably standard hand from what little I saw. Top pair, pretty hard to want to fold. Kevin in a bit of a spot here, facing a turn raise from Matt. Matt just having bluffed off the majority of a stack on one table. Will that affect his decision on this other table? Or will he just have a good hand?
Already a lot of money in the middle, 5K.
Some bluffs making value on this river as well. It looks like he is a big blind defender, and he has gone for some sort of check call, check raise. He now shoves on the end. Kevin does not have an easy decision by the looks of it.
What's some close hands here that you can think of?
Jack 10, pocket jacks. I imagine overpairs feel a bit of pain here. So I think like a 10 is a lot better than an overpair, specifically a 10 that blocks like the 10 of hearts, because you block 10-5, 10-3, 10-9. Or the 10. This is not the show table though. We don't get to see the result there, so that's a little bit disappointing. Yeah,
Two spades. I guess not having a spades is also important, right? If you're Kevin here.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting topic, basically, whether or not to want to have the flush card. Because the way that it often works is that it's actually good to have a spade because they shouldn't bluff with spades. Like, spades might bluff on the turn, but then on the river, your opponent wants to have a bluff that doesn't have spades, so that the in-position guy has spades and basically has a misdraw and just folds because he doesn't have anything. So often it's actually it's just like it's a weird leveling thing, where if you think your opponent would bluff with a missed flush draw, then having spades is bad. But if you think your opponent is more of the GTO type and would say, I have a missed flush draw here, this is a terrible bluff, against that guy, you actually would love to have spades because you're unblocking what their bluffs are. I mean, in two spades in that instance, it was probably not a very good hand. But like, say you had a 10 with a spade, that actually could be a better call than a 10 without a spade.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's a weird one, man. It's a weird one. But if you're trying to, like, you know how often a player will sit through and walk back the hand. You know, they'll say, okay, on the flop, you check raise me. On the turn, I called you, pot bet, whatever. They're sort of walking back through the hand. It's one of the things that you should think about when you're making that decision. You should think, okay, will my opponent bluff river here with missed flush draws? If so, which ones? Because Hold'em gets very specific. You have so few cards that they matter a lot more. Like the ace of spades might have been one that always gives up there, you know, but the jack of spades might be one that shoves because he blocks some rivered straight there with jack 8. He also would block like jack 10 that wants to call the river because it blocks the straight, you know? Sometimes you have a blocker to them blocking your value. So,
it seems like one of those runouts that's like, it's very hard. It's one of the more complicated spots, would you say, or not really?
That hand we just saw, yeah, sure, that looked like a complicated spot, yeah.
We got a raise and a 3-bet here. Okay, hand cutoff versus hijack.
Mr. Aces gets cold 4-bet. Risky, Davey, risky. Against the aces, man. Can he do it again? Oh, he's going to ram over.
Didn't think too long either.
The third copy of aces, yeah, snap ram, probably ace king. And getting called. Ooh, getting free rolled here. Oh, on the run twice. Davey doesn't hit there. Had a chance. And now we're just chopping it up.
What a sweat of a flop.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really give a fuck about $5,000 though, to be honest. Probably doesn't matter at all. But I'll give you that. Kyan's snap jam was very interesting. I think a lot of players that play in this event are not going to jam any hand that quickly because they're going to be concerned with balance and timing. And Kyan probably just doesn't give a fuck. You know, it's not that he's not aware that it's a tactical error. He probably just doesn't fucking care at all. So I respect that. He's going to come out here for quarter pot. Leading into the 3-better, if I'm not mistaken. 3-4-6 rainbow, interesting board. A little bit lower than some of the boards where you can see leading, but definitely leading going to happen on this board from what I know. And this is just an amazing turn for Kai. Like, he can possibly even range barrel here. He's going to go half pot though. A little bit larger, and therefore maybe can't barrel as often.
What was the most exotic hand he shows up with here on the river? Like, is there any like king jack off or probably not? That would call it 3-bet, I guess.
Yeah, just like some random jack 10 suited.
Yeah.
It's going to go bang, bang, bang. Instant river bet. So very curious what Davey thinks of this timing. Like, would Kyan just instantly value bet here with like a fucking pocket 8s or a 7 for this size?
Or a set or a straight? Polar?
Is he repping 2-pair plus, like 2-pair or a straight or a set? I don't know. I mean, this is a show table, so we'll find something out either way. And he does have Jack 9. So Interesting one, because hands like that, they do block some overpairs, like Jack 10, Jack 9, but they also unblock like the ace high double float, which Davey could be making on the turn. I don't like it as much for the third barrel from Kai because he half pot the turn. I feel like the ace king and ace queens are going to struggle to want to call half pot on the turn, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he just has to call ace king ace queen, so then it becomes not all of them obviously, but some amount of them. And then it becomes kind of an easy barrel for Kai there when he unblocks that shit with the lowly Jack 9 on the river.
How does that hand look like theory-wise?
I don't have a fucking clue, mate.
It could exist.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think for sure. I mean, flop is going to be an interesting one because I don't know how often you can donk a 6-4-3. If it was 6-4-5 or 7-6-4, I think like he probably played it like pure easy, like great hand. But 6-4-3, I don't know. It feels like you might not donk that one too much.
All right, 2 big pots brewing here. Okay, and then
Yep.
Davey again. We got Matt Marinelli and Chris Nguyen on the other table. And Kehan with the quads. Oof, running hot. Making some hands here.
Kai gets out to a lead. I think he also did something like that in the previous high stakes event. He was doing well early, and then he like didn't play for a while, and people overtook him, and then he came back and grinded a bit.
Maybe the result in start is like kind of what helps determine how much he's gonna play too, right? Like if he like breaks even, maybe he's like, all right, I got other things I gotta play. It's not that important. But then, say he goes down a bunch or he goes up a bunch, now it feels like there is more incentive to just kind of keep playing. Or you think that doesn't really matter for him?
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I just checked and I saw Coinpoker official posting this thing 1K likes, and I'll sit down at the table. It's like, I really don't want to fucking do that, by the way. Thanks for roping me into this. 6 likes, so that's great. I can go to bed pretty soon and not care. Beautiful.
Where is it? I'll retweet. Here we go. 7's like.
God,
I mean, 1K is like a lot.
Yeah, hopefully.
I think that should have been an offer where like there is the 4 weeks to complete the 1K. Then that would have been interesting.
Dude, yeah, like I want to fucking play this. Come on.
It could be like a set amount of orbits, like 6 orbits or something. I played a little bit in the mid stakes and I got absolutely cooked. I literally lost to myself. Yeah, I played a couple orbits. I was like, oh, I'll play like.
Did you play like a nit, or how did you play?
No, I tried to play well, but I played like 1 weekly orbits and then I lost near every hand I played pretty much. But I didn't necessarily have any big hands or anything. But yeah, some guy like bets 2 times the pot or something in a hand where I had like top pair, no kicker, and then I was like, all right, well, he doesn't know me. He thinks, or he knows I'm a fish, I guess. Like it just feels like he's just gonna have it, and then I fold in any other straight. He just like backdoor the straight. Firankas in the chat, what's up? Get the word out, guys. 1K likes. We're up to 9.
Yeah, dude, I gotta wake up in 4 3/4 hours anyway to do this fucking leaderboard update.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be on a set time every day?
Well, no, it's just I have some shit on in the morning, and I want to try and get the stuff out earlier, just so that other people can do it, because it's going to be a bit of a process.
Okay.
Also, like sims are going to be run for every hand in the event, and that's going to then serve as what you've been told a little bit about this. What's the name of this complicated leaderboard thing? They had a nice name for power rankings. Yeah, the power rankings.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. But yeah, to make sure that these guys have everything in time, I just want to get up a bit early. So I'll have to do with fuck all sleep. But that is usual for me at the moment with an infant child.
So every day you're going to wake up early and do the update?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I probably, though, because I get woken up very early anyway.
How's the paddle going, by the way?
I'm a fucking beast, mate. I'm a beast. 1.5 years. That's all it took me to catch up to the man who thought I would never catch him. With
And now,
his 2-year head start, not good enough.
so you beat the
coming-
person you meant to try and you set out to try and beat.
Not really. I would say he's still a little bit better than me. Do you play or?
No, I just started playing basketball recently.
Okay.
Paddle, I can be, but I hate commuting, even if it's just like 20 or 30 minutes, and I think there's like nothing near me for paddle.
Aren't you in Vienna?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's infinite places, man. They're everywhere.
Yeah, I think maybe one day I'll try, but yeah, for now I'm happy just doing some basketball.
Which district are you in?
7th.
7th. Yeah, U3 to Erdberg. There you go. I got you, man. Easy.
It's indoors, right? Because it's like cold as hell right now. I can't imagine playing outside.
Well, they have both, but yeah, I think if you're going to own a paddle business, indoor in Vienna is the way to go. And we tend to play at this indoor place. Because also, even if it is nice weather outside, like the sun and the fucking wind is still shit, you know?
Is it really big in Vienna? Because last time I was in the US, I was talking about this with someone in Vegas. There were so many places where like you could play paddle as well.
No, that's actually not true. I think you're getting confused with pickleball.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's right.
In Vegas, they have, I believe, only one paddle court, and it's like fucking ages away. It's like a 40-minute drive from the strip.
Yeah.
And the courts are not ideal because they're all outdoor. It's Vegas in the summer, you know, it's fucking hot. And the sandy is shit. So
you have to play at
that was
6
the first
a.m.
place I ever played. And then I've been grinding since then. But yeah, man, maybe you should come down, Johan, one time to the Poker Paddle Cup that happens in Vienna every week. It's a nice one. You might enjoy the atmosphere. Maybe
Well, probably would be too bad because I haven't played.
No, you don't have to play. You can just check out what it is. I mean, to be honest, you wouldn't even get a seat. The thing's completely full. Like they hire. Let me have a think. They hire 8 courts for. Yeah, they hire 8 courts for 2 hours and another 2 courts for an extra 2 hours after. We have 6 different divisions that play.
Wait, so it's like a league, a legit league.
Yeah. If you do well, you go up, and if you do shit, you go down. And it's all poker dudes. So every week, 48 dudes play, and this week there's like 50-something signed up. So there's already a wait list and whatnot.
That's crazy.
But yeah, you know some of the people, like Chris, for example, who's on the table at the moment. He plays. No one else on the table at the moment plays, but several other people who will play in the event do play. Chris likes to give action as well, and I gave him some action the other week. I said a line for him. Like I had no fucking clue what the line would be. I just randomly guessed because his rank was higher. We also have an ELO system, by the way. His rank was higher than his opponent's, and so I said basically, if you get 7 more points than average, that's the break-even point, and $20 from there for every point. You know, so if he gets 8 points, he makes $20, etc., etc. And he fell short of the average by like a significant amount. I think I made like $200-something. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I also lost $800 to him the last time we bet because I had no idea who one of the players was. And basically, we were drafting picks in a league, but you could give the other guy a shit player. And I gave him himself, like just kind of for fun, because he was also the least favorite in his league. And he gave me some guy I had no fucking clue who he was. And this dude fucked me. He buried me completely. I lost $800 just on this one guy alone. So yeah, he got me on that one.
Yeah, I started basketball around 2 months ago, and I asked a friend that plays poker here, like if he knew anyone that plays, and he's like, "Oh, funny coincidence! Somebody in this poker group that we have just asked about basketball." And then it's not somebody I know. It's Max Neugebauer. Do you know him?
It sort of rings a bell.
Yeah, so he was like, "Yeah, this guy, he's looking for people to play basketball and stuff." So he introduces me, and then we agree on the time and like to go practice in one of those like sports halle in like Otakring or whatever. I go there, And this guy, basically, he played basketball for the national team. And he was like my first time playing. So imagine like the skill gap.
Okay. Yeah, I used to play a lot of basketball actually in Vienna as well. So Max, maybe I do know him. Is he a poker guy though? Or?
Yeah, he won WSOP Europe, I think, a while back.
No,
And then he final tabled the last one as well.
let me have a look at this guy.
But he used to be a pro. He used to be a pro
Okay.
before he played poker, I think. He's like over 2 meters tall.
Yeah. This is looking familiar. When did I see this guy? Yeah, I've definitely seen this guy at some point.
Yeah, that's the story. Bit of a mismatch. You know, my first time playing, he was a pro. I just ran some drills and practiced a little bit. He taught me some stuff.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't play basketball anymore because the risk of injury is so much higher, and it would be super tilting to not be able to play paddle.
Really? How is it higher in basketball? With the ankles and everything, you mean? Like if you play intense?
Well, you jump up for the ball, yeah?
Yeah.
If anyone like gets you in the air, or if someone puts a foot under where you land, you fucked, man. And it happens pretty often, especially if you play we play outdoor threes, and it's winner stays. This is the most common format. This is probably where I saw your friend Max. They play in this park, Schönborn Park, and it's good. It's good competition level for like outdoor basketball.
Yeah.
And if you win, you stay on the court. But a lot of people play like just fouling all the time and shit. So if you jump up, a lot of people come under your legs and stuff. It's fucking tilting. So
yeah.
I had a decent few injuries, and I decided I like playing paddle. Fuck basketball.
Understandable. It's pretty sick in Vienna. There's parks everywhere with like a basketball court every time too.
Yeah. Volleyball, basketball, football.
RWT says, "Why not on Coinpoker YouTube channel?" Well, that's where we are now on a different channel.
No, we're on PokerStrategy.
Namely PokerStrategy, yeah. And that's where we'll be streaming. Same on Twitch. It's PokerStrategy.com.
Yeah, well, PokerStrategy is quite involved with this particular event. They're going to provide some daily updates. They're even going to do, I think, a little bit of catching you up on like the last 24 hours of action. So if there's a notable storyline happening, or maybe an interesting hand, you're going to get like an extra hand breakdown or a little bit of extra information by getting, and they're going to host the leaderboard over there. So they're also doing the stream. So the PokerStrategy are effectively like a sponsor of this event. So that's the reason that we're over here. By the way, it looks like Kevin might be done as well. So I don't know, man. The action tonight might not be amazing. You know, after all, for most of these dudes, it is 2 a.m. So I'm not sure what to expect. I feel like tomorrow, sometime during the day, the games are going to get popping.
Yeah. Well, when I talked to Owen, he said he was too tired now and going to sleep soon. So I think tomorrow I'll start playing, and then we'll have the champ back.
We were thinking about just opening the tables at midday tomorrow instead, and maybe that would have been the better decision. But the players did vote for this time slot, so I'm gonna have a look at who voted now. I want to know. Prodigy voted for now.
He didn't know what his sleep schedule would be like today.
Yeah, well, he can never put himself on a sleep schedule. Luca and Davey both voted for now, so respect. We had Munez and Diesel and Big Bong himself, aka Joe Adams. They were also voting for the midnight start, so didn't see them, but whatever. So yeah, maybe that's my opportunity to gap it, man. I don't know if the games are gonna break or not, but I do need to go to sleep and get a good few hours if I can.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know what your plan is, man. If like, I would say if the tables died, like, you know, maybe just cut it. You know, you don't want to sit here all night hoping something will happen when it may not necessarily.
Yeah. I don't think I'll be telling, you know, children's stories and singing lullabies on my own.
Very good. So the storyline of the beginning of this event, what's it called? Cayenne with aces. That's what I remember from tonight.
And chopping with the ace king, yeah, those aces were nice. It was fully standard, right? The tens are just meant to go for it here as well.
Yeah. All right, man. Nice. Well, I'm sure we'll speak again. And thanks for doing these streams, dude. And it should be a really nice event, even if it is off to a slightly slow start.
Yeah, thank you. And looking forward to having you back on. We'll have you also for the VIP games, I guess, right?
Hopefully, man. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yep. Sweet,
All right.
bro.
Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Talk
Bye
later.
bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Shout out to Kaki for joining and helping make this happen. It's quite a few cash game world championship in now, actually. Because there was high stakes, mid stakes, PLO, and now we're back to a high stakes. So it's literally the fourth one. It's been made happen by Coin. I started looking for guests a while back. I haven't had too many responses, but yeah, the goal for the next 4 weeks will be to, as always, have as many guests as possible on to break down some hands, have some fun, tell us about what's going on with them. And yeah, I do expect that starting tomorrow, there'll be more action, more tables running. Yeah, very nice to have David Jones in there. Where was he? Oh, he was there 14th. So he only played 13k hands. Had a small win rate, 2.5k. And actually, wait, he's EV. 35k above EV. Nice. Linus 33k hands, but I was mostly at the side. Linus might have ended with, I don't want to say the most hands, but top 2 or top 3 in hands if he had played the whole previous challenge. So hope to see him back as well. I think right now the one table overlay looks a little funny, so we're gonna mostly abstain. Yeah, I'll show the 2 tables. How you been, RWT in the chat? I remember you. I feel like you almost never miss a stream, my guy. Appreciate you. That makes me think I should try and set up some giveaways, although I did end up feeling some pain when one of the giveaways was a struggle in the previous Cash Game World Championship. It's always nice to do some of those. What's up, Fiorenkus? If you guys see a hand you want me to review, let me know. Busy lately? How have you been? I've been pretty good. I was, haven't seen you in Bena Discord in a while. Yeah, you know, after I interacted with this Sri Rashi, I'm not gonna say too many bad words because we're streaming, but I'm kidding. I have a lot of Discords. It's kind of hard to keep track sometimes, so I kind of limit it to like 2 or 3 that I focus on. Also, I think there is a lot of random discussions. Like sometimes there was really nice poker discussions, but there was also a lot of like super off-topic stuff. So a lot of the time, I don't really feel like scrolling through everything. Yeah, looking forward to having Bena as well on the stream at some point. Those guys have been posting some really sick videos recently, by the way. Benna, Clanty. I was watching some of those. Kevin is still here, by the way. It's a very good question. Who will be back? Shirley would be nice to have. Decky, I assume, likely to play. And then, yeah, once you get to like position 18 through to 22, well, I guess not to 21, it's like very low volume. Daryl Go, Jam, Big Joe, Alex Trevelyan, they didn't play much. Full or Die trying. Chris Nguyen did play a lot initially, then after he got a big score over in the Bahamas, I think he didn't continue playing. Stefan with also very few hands. Yeah, some players like Free Nachos would be nice if they would play way more. Or Taisto Janter. Or Hi Mark, who we had on the call many times too. Diesel, less than 3k hands. To see him back. Oh, Barak, of course. Barak's in there. Voidamans, Pepe. Yeah, Matt Marinelli also already back. Okay, let me look for a guest. It's funny the time of the year. It is stuck in micros. 4 weeks of high stakes incoming. Hopefully we're gonna learn some things. And we're gonna have fun doing it. What's going on? How's your grind been actually? Like I haven't caught up in a little bit. What is happening here? Like there was a re-raise and Davy Jones bets in position on 6-4-5 rainbow. Christmas before Christmas. I think it's good that this ends in early December because, you know, last time that was one of the things, like, because it was too close to Christmas, some players didn't end up being able to play as much as they wanted. So now I feel like it's going to be much better for everybody. It's a rake free, right? Yes, no rake. No rake and some big prizes, 100k in prizes total, which includes a 35k Rolex watch for the winner. Second place will be 17.5, 15k for third, 12.5 for fourth, and 10k for fifth. Again, the EV being the important number. And to be able to be eligible for one of the prizes, you need to have at least have played 20k hands. And then we'll have the VIP game on Sunday, as per usual. Doing okay, hopefully going to improve my strategy in the next 4 weeks by watching. Make sure to ask a lot of questions as well. When we have guests on, I always pay a lot of attention to the chat. I'm always happy to relay a question from the viewers. So you guys have direct access to the thought process of these sick players. I don't want to review that hand here. Just hands. Let's see. So this was an open by Davey, and then okay, so that was a squeeze. I was like, it seemed like there was at least a 3-bet, but the pot was so big, I was wondering what happened exactly. So Matt Marinelli calls, and then Kevin Paquet with the squeeze in the big blinds, called by Davey, folds Matt Marinelli. Kevin checks on 6-5-4. Davy Jones stabs for quarter, call 3 on the turn. Continue for half. And then river is SPR 1. Davy Jones goes for it. Kevin with the straights. That's so sick. He flopped the straights and checked it down. And Davy Jones picked a hell of a spot to actually try and take that pot away against the flopped nuts here. Absolute coconuts. What have you been playing stuck in micros recently? Some no limit hundreds? Or some 200s? Or after crushing the few hands that you played in the mid stakes championship, you thought it was time to play that no limit 500. I like the graphic, by the way, like the bottom pots that we have on the stream right now. Looks pretty cool. And over bets by Kevin. Queen 3 of spades. So he just had the flush draw. He's going to be able to take that one down. I'll be right back. 3 minutes, guys. All right, I'm messaging a couple people to see if they want to come on. Obviously, it's pretty late already. Pretty much no limit 100 and even lower if traffic or tables not good. Nice, nice. Hope you're doing well, dude. You want to do some study sessions sometime soon? I'm definitely down. Okay, I messaged a lot of people. Not just for today, but also for the future sessions. Johan, who gonna stream? I mean, among players. Well, it really depends like who wants to join the call, but in the previous cash game World Championship, we had a lot of those guys come on actually. Some more often than other. Like initially we had Llama and Prodigy joined very regularly. Prodigy was one of the ones that came on the most. And then pretty crazy, like he actually won, so we literally heard from the champ a lot of times. Kevin Paquet only came on the last day after the challenge was over. I think Enlight we heard from once. Absolute Top Up came a couple times. Stambolov came on once. Shelley came on a couple times. And then Highmark came on a whole bunch of times. He was one of the regulars on the stream. Looking forward to having him back. I was only 17, aka Barak. Also was on a bunch of times. Joe Adams came on once. And Lama, of course, was on quite a few times too. Who is Dunkaroos? Good question. I do not know. I mean, among players, I've seen the streamer qualification into VIP weekly games. Oh, you mean, I thought you meant who's going to join stream. I don't think any of the players will stream themselves. And Bobsy asked, why are there so few players? Because it just started, it's pretty late. I think maybe people already kind of like had plans, but I do expect there will be more tables running in the next 4 weeks, in the next days already. Yeah, it would be nice to have Silama back. I hope for sure he joins us again. It's always fun. I ran into him in Vegas actually during my Las Vegas trip. Said hello. He was playing some silly stakes. I don't know how much was on the table, but there was a lot of money. Okay, Fearencast, I'm actually curious. What exactly did you see? Let me see. Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even realize there is a streamer qualifier. I don't know who would do that, actually. I mean, it's high stakes. Like, I mean, if nobody does it and only one guy does it, though, like he gets the seat guaranteed to the VIP game, the EV must be like a real thing there. So yeah, we're gonna have a VIP game every Sunday, which is gonna have an ante and a 7 deuce game with 5 big blind bounty per player. So you win a pretty sizable amount if you win with 7 deuce into that game. And the ways to qualify will be the person that lost the most money in the week, the one that's the most under EV for the week, the most hands played, the biggest volume, the coolest hand of the week, which is a vote on Twitter/X, is like usually 4 to 5 entries. And the last seed, the 5th seed, a streamer qualifier. So if any of the players streams for 2+ hours with whole cards, they will be part of a raffle where any other player that did it, they're part of it, and then we draw who wins the seat in the VIP game. That is pretty sick. I didn't even know that was there. Stefan got the most losses seat locked up already. I don't expect to see Stefan in this because last time it didn't go well in the mid stakes. So usually, that's not really the way you want to do it. You play the mid stakes one, don't do well, and then play the high stakes one. But we'll see. No showdown. So some of the tables are show tables, Yitu. For example, this one right there. So here, even if somebody, folds at some point, the hand of the winner will be shown. Like this. But on this one, it's not a show table. There is another table, but it's only 3-handed, so I kind of want to keep this one since it's 4-handed. But yeah, I do not expect Stefan to play in this, but it would be nice to have him. Very entertaining player. If you guys have any advice on, or like wishes for guests to have on, make sure to let me know and then I'll try and make it happen. I think I got pretty much everybody covered in terms of, like, I have a pretty good idea. Obviously, I'm going to ask everyone that's in this. And then I'm going to ask, Yuri Peleg, Wako, Clanty, Benabad Beat, all these guys. David Jones with the 8s. We'll be able to win this one. It's pretty cool to already have Kevin in there, especially because of how much volume he played in the last one. Hope to see him grinding it hard once again. See Lama. Yeah, of course. I mean, Lama is one of the guys I will ask for sure. I mean, I could message him now. I'm doubtful he's around, but let's see. Kevin's playing now. Yes, he is. Kevin is Mr. Tax here, right there. That's Kevin Paquet, I believe. Legends. Decky also. Yeah, Decky, I think he doesn't seem to want to join the commentary, but if you would want to, it'd be more than welcome, of course. Thought that was Malinowski. I don't think so. No, I think Taxier is Kevin. Could get some mistakes. Cash Game World Championship people. On again if no high stakes player available. Yeah, I already messaged a few. I messaged Shoslar and Coley as well. Yeah, today was a little bit hectic because I had 2 Warcraft free matches. I'm like in this one tournament, and they were at they were what 3 p.m. and then another one was supposed to be at 7, but then it got pushed back to 10 p.m. and then it lasted 2 hours. So I finished at midnight. Then I had 1 hour to prepare a bunch of stuff properly to try and be ready for when the table started. Yeah, I do need to message a whole bunch of people more. I've already messaged quite a few. We're gonna build up from that. I would have to have Saulo Costa actually on. Your sleep schedule is messed up. Actually, well, I didn't really know it is messed up. Like I was in America and then I came back on the 31st. And then for a week straight, I was like super jet lagged. But now I was like, I wanted to adjust my sleep schedule to commentate this easily. But I don't really know what the hours are going to be, you know? It's possible that there is games running like from noon and then up until 4 a.m. And then if that's the case, basically, my sleep schedule would have to be go to bed at 4 and then wake up at 11 or something, and then just stream at noon and then do another stream later at night. So I'm going to have to figure out at what time those guys are playing and then just kind of adjust my sleep schedule from that. Clanty, yes, of course. I've already messaged Clanty. He came on last time during the Mid-Stakes Championship. I love Clanty's videos. Matt Marinelli opens 2x in the cutoff. We see Dunkaroos free betting the button. Call 993. Clanty with Benna. Yes, I've asked both of them. And a C-bet will do it. It's not the show table, unfortunately. Okay, I'll put the show table, another show table, I guess. Even though it's only 3-handed. It's just much more entertaining to get to see. Yeah, this should be better. See some showdowns. Yeah, today I don't think I will be live for very long. I still need to fix my sleep schedule, or like have a proper sleep schedule to do this properly. There is not a ton of tables running. I enjoy a lot Matt Marinelli. Yeah, that's probably like a good one to ask to join the stream. Queen 8-8. Continue for quarter. And a quick fold. Ace 5 off. Every time I do database review, my coach tells me I don't c-bet enough. Now I ask myself, with the ace 5 off, would I have c-bets on that boards? I'm actually not even sure. Maybe I think sometimes I might, sometimes I might not. Got a 3-bet pot here. Blind on blinds. Sunny 92. What's his real name? Isn't that Joseph Schutterish? I probably butchered the name. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we can ask him. Those are some good suggestions. Thank you, you two. I don't know how long the delay is, by the way, on the stream, but it must not be very long. But also maybe not that short, considering the response from the chat. Maybe like 15 seconds or so. What is going on down there? Bets exactly pot here, Matt Marinelli. Yeah, I didn't set up fully those one table scenes yet. That's not the show table, so we wouldn't see if there is a fold. The hope is that there'll be a call. And we can get to see what happens. Kevin tanking a long time. Must have one of those hands that's like, how to let go of, makes the call, and he will be shown a bluff. He has two pairs. Wow. All right, let's rewatch this. So we had an open from Matt Marinelli on the button. Kevin defends the big blind, ace 10-3 with a flush draw. Continue for the big sizing here. And Kevin calls 6 of clubs on the turn. Again, big sizing, call again, and then on the river, he goes for pots. King Jack with the Jack of clubs. Very sick call. What's your thoughts? What's your guys' thoughts on this hand? I feel like in my pool, you can just fold your 2 pair here. Even on the turn already. You're just cooked. Of course, I'm a kid and I'm exaggerating, but yeah, people don't bluff nearly enough. He was really thinking about it a long time, put it together, and then decided to go for the call. Maybe you want to shove. Oh yeah, actually, good points. Good points. Try to get called by an ace. I mean, yeah, he has no club, just the 2 pairs. I wonder if the king jack is must bluff there. That's why I like this challenge, because we take a proper look at this type of hand and really get to ask ourselves, like, okay, what must be done here? What exactly happens? It's entertaining and very educative at the same time. It will be far more so when we do get some of these guests coming on. What was that? So single raise spots, button against big blind, Davy Jones and Matt Marinelli continues small and fold deuce. Check gets check raised. He calls. And then Davy Jones taps turn small, gets called, 3 on the river. They check around. What a turn for Davy Jones. He's drawing to everything, but then gets third pair, which is really nothing. But somehow there was another third pair with a better kicker. You too. Were you were there during the last Cash Game World Championship, or it was a while back, so I don't remember every nickname. $3 here already. Thanks for the stream, Johan. We'll back tomorrow. All right. Good night, Firankes. Where are you watching from? Just curious. Yeah. Thanks for dropping by. We'll be live every single day, pretty much, for 4 weeks straight. It's precisely 4 weeks long, the challenge. Yes, I was. Okay, nice. Did you win one of the giveaways by any chance? From Tunisia. Nice. You know, anytime we start talking about where anybody's from, I immediately start thinking about food. We need to be careful. I'm going to get hungry. Could use some Tunisian food. Yo, Hajeb, what's up? Welcome, welcome, sir. I feel like you're one of the most consistent viewers that's there for the streams, Hajeb. And you always have a lot of questions when we have some guests on. Benabadbit, by the way, did respond that he wasn't available today, but in the future, the time might work for him, so he might be able to come on at some point. You love to hear that. Good night. Keep streams coming. I will. You know I will. That's what I do. Ace 4-3. Looks like a check raise from Matt Marinelli in the big blind against the button. A 4 on the turn with the flush getting there. Matt Marinelli thinking on it. He does fire. Interesting sizing. It's like 40%. 5 of spades on the river. Davy Jones actually didn't think too long here. Do we fire or not? Goes for a check on the river. And Davy Jones will be the one betting out 2,600 into 3.5. It's a full. It's a full house with the ace-4. Mamma mia. Last edition, Davy said he was busy mid-run. This time he's early on. He's ready, guys. Honestly, I'm pretty hyped to see him put in really good volume here. Again, I think you might have just joined, but earlier Kaki was on the stream, and then I was saying, going into the last Cash Game World Championships, I didn't know the most about, you know, the high stakes world and who is who. But Davy is one of those names that consistently was being shown respect to by the other players. Was mentioned as one of the goats of ring games. And usually when you hear that from some very, very good players, you know you can give real credit to this type of comments. So when I see him play a whole bunch, see how well he can do. Yeah, one thing that actually kept being brought up was his win rate, which was pretty high in high stakes games. So he's got the credentials for sure. Maybe he's considered second best player after Linus, I think. You mean in what format exactly? Just in cash? In ring games? Like in what context in particular? Yes, non-heads up cash. I mean, oh, okay. You mean third, second, because Prodigy is first. Put some respect on Prodigy's name. Tomorrow Prodigy gonna join the action, gonna be amazing. Davy Jones and Kevin here in the hands. That's a fifth. I guess, yeah, if he calls SPR, will be nearly one. And Davy Jones actually re-raises, but kind of small. Do we see a min click? Do we see a jam? Do we see a fold? I almost feel like call is like the least likely option, but there it is. It's a call. And we do see a jam here. Davy Jones going for it. Gets a fold through. The 10-8 suited. So open on the button, 3 bets, 4 bets, the min 4 bet, 1200, 2.4. Small continue. And it's pretty much a check min. In the 4 bet pots, I wouldn't expect to see too many of, but when he sees the sizing, he probably thinks there's going to be a lot of hands in there that he can beat. Maybe, so he's trying to protect his 10. Doesn't want to see like over cards, obviously. Also doesn't have that great a kicker. And then once Kevin just calls, this kind of opens the door for David Jones to do this. This is interesting. How often do you expect worse hands to call? 10-8 suited and 4-bit pots. Mamma mia. I hope, I'm sure there will be some good content as well made from this. Some clips, some hand reviews. I wonder if this was value or not, the 10-8s. Yeah. Because even if he has like, he's trying to represent 8s, it is still 10 high boards. Now that would be a good hand to break down with one of our high stakes guys, which I'm sure we'll have plenty on at some points. I don't know who Dunkaroos is. I'm actually excited to see all of the leaderboard updates as well. Like, it's always so hard to say who's doing how. Right now, Kevin, for example, he has a starting stack, he has a 16k stack, and he has a 33k stack. How much is he up? He might be break even, he might be slightly down, slightly up. Maybe a recreational, only one tabling. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like if it was a recreational, maybe the table would fill up with some of those guys that maybe didn't really want to play much now, but then would think they can't pass up on the opportunity. So I doubt it's a recursion. Dunkaroos is a high stakes American reg. All right. You're playing clicker heads up earlier. Okay. What's up, Sheldon and Rob? Thank you for joining, guys. What do you guys think of this scene? Is it okay to use this? I feel like when we're gonna get, maybe I should reduce the table. I don't know. When we're gonna get the updated graphic on the right side, it's gonna look cleaner. I have a hard time when it doesn't look that clean. I also purposely cut off the left side of the table and the right side a little bit. Don't want to be too nitpicky, but I think the point of this scene when we show one table like this is that if somebody is like outside or traveling, they can watch on their phone the stream and see what's happening very easily. Because, you know, the phone's pretty small. Like if you have a scene like this, this would be probably a little bit hard on the eyes to watch from a phone. Everything's kind of small. So usually I kind of favor this. Like in the last mid-stakes Cash Game World Championship, I was using a lot the one full screen table like this. I always welcome to feedback to make the stream better. That's not the show table. I guess we can focus on these two. Overbet here. So I guess Matt Marinelli. No, it's blind on blind. Never mind. So I guess it's single raise spots, small bet call, overbet on the turn. And now another 10 comes on the river. And he goes small this time. Quarter pots for Kevin. That's your call, and it's a full house. Wow. Against the ace-8 off. Okay, so he continues quarter. Call overbets the turn. It's called again. I wonder actually, how much was the ace-8 off willing to call here? Obviously against quarter, it's like, it's pretty easy to not go anywhere, but what about 2/3, 3/4, full pots, 125%? All right, let's check out one more interesting hand, and then I think for today that's gonna be it. And from tomorrow, I'll try and have some guests line up if I can. Even some guys from the Mid-Stakes Championship would be nice to on the call. And I will be doing longer streams as well, but there is a chance I do the whole 28 days in a row, so I kind of feel like I need to pace myself. And not right off the bat do some, 10-hour stream. We had some crazy ones actually during the last high stakes championship. I think there was one day I might have done like 12 or 13 hours or something. Davy Jones sitting out. Rig deck! Oh my god, it's there. Rig deck! The runner-up. The silver medalist from the last championship. Amazing to see him back in the mix. Welcome back, sir. What a champ. He was so nice as well. The nicest guy of guys. Joining the call a couple times. Being very congratulatory of Prodigy. Did beat him. Looks like another single raise spot here, but it's against small blinds. Jack 6-3 rainbow checks through. 10 of spades on the turn. Do we have any lead outs here? Matt Marinelli goes for the overbets. 150%. All right, we see a call. 7 of diamonds on the river. I guess 8-9 is the one straight I got there. I guess 4-5 as well. It's a very interesting card. We see a full pot size bet by Matt Marinelli. And we're going to see a fold, and he had the king jack suited for top pair. Pretty good kicker. Okay, the agency is back. Nine, six suited. Wow. Okay. And not the run out you want to see when you have a set of jacks here. Puts 4 to a straight on the board. So he does end up running into a hand that he had beat anyway. All right, we need to see a hand of rigged. An interesting hand of rigged before calling it a day here. Could this be the one? Nope. This opens with the tens. And they're playing some bigger pots here at this one table, but that's not the show table. It could be having a showdown here though. Let's keep an eye on it. Very low runouts. Any ace or six is a straight. Oh, and we fire half pot on the river. This might have been a 3-bet pot. I didn't quite catch exactly what happens. Unless there was a check raise on the flop. Maybe it was button against big blind. I don't even know if rigged. It might not. Yeah, I think rigged might not have been in the hand. It might be button against big blind. And check jam on the river from Matt Marinelli. We need to see a call to be able to see the hands because it's not the show table. And we do get a call. And both players have a straight. All right. Big drama show, all for this. What's the action? Yeah, single raise pot. Both players have a 6. We see a check raise. They both get the straight on the turn. Check call from Matt Marinelli. And then on the river, he traps, check jams. What do you guys think of Prodigy's chances in this? I was talking about it with a friend. It would be very interesting to see if he can perform after winning last time. All right, here we go. Rigged defends the big blinds against Kevin, who's on the button. Queen deuce deuce with a flush draw. It's going to check around. 10 of clubs on the turn. Rigged checks again. And Kevin now thinking, do I bet? Do I check? He goes for the bet, half pot, and that will be enough to take it down. He had the open-ender and a flush draw. Rig must have had absolutely nothing, folded very quickly. All right, last hand. Marinelli with the open raise on the button. David Jones defends the big blinds. Big c-bet on 9-8 deuce, and he had the Rockets pocket aces. All right, guys, that's going to be it for now. Just a short stream today to introduce us into the Cash Game World Championship. We're back for a whole 4 weeks. So make sure to follow all the socials. They're shown here on the stream. Also, the Coinpoker socials is where it's going to be posts daily when we're live. So yeah, make sure to follow all of these. PokerStrategy.com on YouTube, PokerStrategy.com on Twitch as well is the 2 channels where we're going to be streaming daily. And we'll have a lot of guests coming on, hopefully. I wish you all a good night. Thank you for joining us here for this first session. Back tomorrow, I'm guessing sometime in the afternoon if the tables are running, otherwise in the evening. Like it really depends when I would just monitor the tables, and when they are live, I'll go live. Much love, everyone. See you tomorrow. Have a good night. Take care.